Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant. Always grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to jam with you right here in La Ciudad, wherever you are around the world watching us. I want to say thank you. Good afternoon to all those persons out there. It's a Friday. BIM. A warm and easy selector. It's a beautiful day. Always grateful to be in your company. Always grateful to jam with you here. Make sure you guys tune in. Like and share the content, guys. We're on Foundation 242, all of our social media platforms. And make sure you be able to pick us up. Tell your cousin, tell your friend, tell your auntie them. In Grand Bahama, Dove 103.7 FM. Pick us up in that kind of a space as we continue to be able to jam with you and do our thing. Make our things happen in these particular areas. I'm always grateful to be with you. Always grateful to be in this kind of I'm grateful. I'm always grateful to be with you. Because guess what? You didn't have to choose your boy. You didn't have to be here. You could go someplace else and listen to somebody else. Praise God. Or you didn't have to listen to nothing at all. But you chose to be able to be here with us. And we are truly grateful for that kind of an opportunity to be able to pour into your lives or even inform you about some things that you may not necessarily know, or you've been looking for some information. A lot of persons are in this kind of a space and position. They just want to be able to talk politics at this time. They want to know exactly where you are, what you're doing, and there is a relentless appetite, a thirst, a desire to be able to hear a little bit more about what we're doing and what's happening around the country. So I know you guys are going to get into it. I know that you're going to be in this kind of a position that you want to talk about these things. We're going to jam, and we can continue to be able to do that and talk with you. At this hour right now is a great deal of things happening. And in the House of Assembly, well, in Government House, there is this sort of an introduction of the new ministers that we can be able to see. There has been a lot of speculations around who's going to be where and what they're going to be able to do. But we're going to look for the formality of that and really be able to introduce that to that right now. Guys, if you want to be a part of what we're doing right here, I'd love you to be able to do so. Hit me up, 827-0111. 827-0111. We're out here live and in full effect. And guys, if you want to be able to do something with us as it relates to being able to do your marketing, your this, your that, and you want to be able to utilize our space, listen, I hear with you. And we're going to be able to do that. Now, listen, I just put some things out for your viewing pleasure. I put some things out there for your viewing pleasure. And I get a tremendous amount of cussing for it last night. And I don't know whether or not, what type of human being I might be, but I enjoyed it. Not necessarily to be able to trouble the waters of what's happening in these people's organization, but really being able to make a determination as to whether or not you have considered things could be a little different than the course of the tradition that is traveled. That's it. That's it. All this is that I want to know whether or not you have considered that things could be a little bit different than the course of the tradition that you have traveled in your lifetime. That's all I want to know. Sometimes people just see things the way that it is and the way that it was with no expectation that anything would change. In fact, they make arguments about the fact that things must retain and remain the same. They make arguments about these particular things, and they try to be able to talk you down as to why things must be the same. with no consideration that life is fluid and life goes through its ups and downs, and people mature and things develop and things happen, and people are prepared to step into new spaces and new places. They don't care about none of that. Their care and concern solely exist around this sort of an idea that says, this is just what it is and this is how it's going to be. And so you can't fight these people, but you do your part. You say, have you considered my servant Job? Have you considered? That's all. It ain't nothing more than that. It's only whether or not you've considered. I can't make nothing happen, and I can tell you exactly what's what, because I can show you all these things. I can tell you what I'm talking about right now. I'm showing you all these things. Guys, make sure you check me out, foundation242.com. Foundation242 across social media. Pick me up on YouTube, Foundation242 or RRB242. RRB242. You can just pick it up, and you can be able to see these things. I can put this right here on my page right now. Right now. I can be able to do this right now, because the truth is this. There is some things happening, and you want to be able to identify these things. The Free National Movement has been decimated. They have been everything that they would have they stood for, everything that they represented. There's sort of an idea and the approach that they've taken over the years, the expectation of what we had them, how we had them in high regard in our lives, in our minds, socially and otherwise. Those things have been decimated over the course of the last few years. And I don't know whether or not they will return. I don't know whether or not you want to see that the Free National Movement of yesterday return. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. And as I look at this, it's just me being decent. And some people would tell me that this is indecent, I'm telling you. Some people would tell me, Howard, this ain't decent what you're doing. In fact, my good friend Bishop told me last night, Howard, stop this evilness. Oh, Jesus. Bishop, you go look at my Facebook page. My Facebook page open for the public, so you can be able to see it. All right? Howard R. Grant. So you just pull it up and you can be able to see it. Look at my Facebook page and see what I put out there. And look at the comments the people cussed me out last night. Oh, God. They likes to kill me. But I just had to kind of put this in there to figure out if your mind is in the same place that I am. And I got to do it like that. Hold on, I got one more. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Look at the page. I can do it one at a time. I can do it one at a time. So you don't have nothing to freak out for, and you don't have nothing to say. I can do it one at a time. Here we go, guys. We're live, and so I know you want to... Oh, Lord, let me do this. Yo, guys, check me out on Facebook. Check me out all over the place and see exactly what's what in these areas. Let me show you what we get. First one up, out the gate. Now, this may be peculiar for you. And Howard, why you in F&M business? I know that's your thought pattern. I know that's what you're saying. I know you're cussing me out. I know that you ain't interested in them kind of things. Howard, why you doing this? Yes, I may be in F&M business. I may be in this kind of position that I talking about some things, but I see some things. Here we go. Lincoln Deal, Member of Parliament, leader for the Free National Movement, strong, capable, committed, ready to lead, and a leader that you can trust. Lincoln Deal. A lot of persons would make this kind of determination to me and say, Howard, what about, why would you leave these people out? What's wrong with Michael Pintard? Isn't Michael Pintard in this particular capacity? Michael Pintard, I believe that he's gearing up to be able to kind of exit the scene, right? Not that it may necessarily be so, right? This is only speculation. This ain't nobody give me this information. And we're talking. in the House of Assembly right now, or will be sworn in next week, Wednesday, is Lincoln Deal, Michael Barnett, Barnett Ellis, Adrian White, Dr. Andre Rollins, what's his name? Leno, Jay Ferguson. This is my cow, all right? Michael Pintard, Kwesi Thompson, and Frazette Gibson. Okay? And you look at all of these particular persons and you make a determination that the very first one in your mind, who is tenacious, who is outspoken, who is strong, who is, in your mind, tested in their leadership. These are sort of the answers that run to the frontal lobe of your discourse and your assessment. This is run to the front of your brains right away. Right away in your head, you think of the very first person that could be able to do this. Right away in your head, you think of Andre Rollins. That's what you thought. Now, I didn't show you. I don't necessarily agree with that. Andre Rollins is tenacious. He is strong. He's vocal. He's articulate. He's insightful. He has great experience, but he does not have the temperament. He does not have the temperament of a unifier. That's Howard Grant. You fight me? You could fight me down to the ground if you want. Andre Rollins does not have the temperament of a unifier that the Free National Movement needs now. He's tenacious. He is he's confrontational. He is defiant. He is not, nor has he ever been, from what he's displayed and delivered to us from a public standpoint, a unifier. He has not presented himself in that particular capacity. Leader, he is. Unifier, he is not. Do we need that right now? Do you need that in the Free National Movement right now? So you put an asterisk to his name. Kwesi Thompson, for the years that he's been in the House of Assembly, has not displayed an iota of leadership, even when he stood in the capacity of Member of Parliament and Minister out of the office of the Prime Minister in Grand Bahama for Grand Bahama. He has not. Kwesi Thompson relentlessly has sat in the position of a party man and done as he was told. Can I say that to you? Is it okay to talk like this? Does it feel disparaging? Does it feel this sort of an idea of being able to be condescending? Because that's not the intent. I know Kwesi. I'm not here to talk about him disparagingly. We're talking about leadership. These questions are, these kind of conversations may not be the easiest conversations to have. It may not be that kind of a conversation that you want to have because of the difficulty associated with that, because, you know, you just want to be able to talk about what's good and comfortable for you. That's it. People, you just want to talk about what's good and comfortable for you. You feel like this is socially taboo to have these conversations, but I dare say it's not. I dare say it's not. I dare to say that it's not. I dare to tell you that it's crucial for us to be able to look at these things with a level of transparency and talk about this. The Free National Movement has just gone through an entire cycle, 10 years of tribulation, 10 years. The Free National Movement has gone through tribulation, even with the introduction of the leader of the Free National Movement at the time, Hubert Alexander Minnis. Minnis was supposed to be sitting in the capacity where he's been bestowed, right, almost bequeathed this sort of a position of leader from former leader, Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. Okay? Now, as we look at these things and we make this kind of determination, we identify these things exactly what's what. The very first thing that Dr. Minnis would have said after he stood in this particular capacity, knowing that he sat coy for such a long time and waiting for an opportunity to be able to prunks on this kind of a leadership and sink his teeth into it, finally having an opportunity to be able to modify the organization the way that he sees it and being able to move in that particular direction. Minnis gets in and he screams, "The Ingraham era is over." And Ingraham stunned. What? Ingraham era is over. Cut off all communication with Ingraham. Stop listening to Ingraham. Stop being concerned about Ingraham. Stop doing these things. Left him alone. Did all these particular things. And found himself in this kind of a capacity of being able to kind of navigate this for himself. He recognized after one fight with Loretta, after another fight with Loretta, after recognizing that there was a fraction in the organization that he's going to be a significant fight, he put up his money, she put up her money, they went to convention, and Loretta get slaughtered by the people who supported her. Minnis emerged as the leader. Minnis was still unable to kind of unify the organization. The only unifier at the time, and I believe that still is a unifier in the organization in many respects, is Hubert Alexander Ingraham. Minnis couldn't be able to rally the momentum to be able to get into the 2017 election. He calls Hubert Alexander Ingraham to the stage. Papa shows up. Boom! Minnis wins. Goes back to non-communication with Ingraham. You didn't want to hear from him. Dorian hits. Ingraham had to go and look for a golf cart. Him and former Prime Minister Perry Christie riding up and down, giving water to people, which was a kind of a peculiar thing to me. As we look at that, for a desire to be able to come to the cameras and say, well, you know, I don't hear from the fellow. You know, every day we used to talk. Long story short, they eradicate Minnis. Boom, Minnis out of the picture. Minnis is not a unifier. He was unable to bring people back together. He looked for those people within his organization that was quote-unquote Minnisites, and everyone else was left on the outskirts. Minnis is out of the picture. Boom. Dwayne Sands had an opportunity, and I got to say this to you, Dwayne Sands. Despite the fact that Hubert Alexander Ingraham supports you, and many of us don't feel like you have the political wherewithal to take the organization where they need to go, you had a chance, an opportunity to be able to prove every one of us wrong. More than once. You had an opportunity to be able to present yourself undeniable in your capacity, in your position. You had a chance. You had a chance. You had a chance to be able to conform, transform, and reform the organization. You could have been the reformer. You could have been the transformer. You could have been the glue that kept the organization together. You could have been absolutely undeniable. You could have been afforded an opportunity, even by diffusion, not only to win the hearts of the people in your organization, but as a result of that, everyone spoke the language of how you made modifications in the organization, and subconsciously or simultaneously, however you want to look at it, fight for you to be able to win your position in Bamboo Town. They would have done anything to be able to assist you because you're a unifier. The party needs you. Everyone would have been able to support you and rally behind you, but you didn't do that. You didn't prove yourself a unifier. You didn't prove yourself able to unite. You didn't have the articulation to understand the necessity for being able to break up the monopoly of the concept that out islanders identify as Nassau centricity. You did none of this, Ted. You did none of this. Absolutely none of this you did. You did none of this. All you did was sit and wait. And I think that's where a lot of Christians go wrong also. When the Word of God says to us, wait on the Lord, none of us understood that wait for a long time. Yeah, maybe we do now with the hermeneutics and this sort of the breaking down of the biblical context. A lot of persons may be able to see that in a different light. But for the most part, that concept and idea associated with wait only place you in a position of expectation. So you're sitting on here with your paused, with potential energy, with your hands open, eager to be a recipient of something. But you didn't understand that wait mean work, waiter, to serve. You didn't understand that. And so the Bahamian people, more specifically the Free National Movement, those members of the organization, still wait for you to be able to serve them. And you haven't done that. You were waiting for an opportunity to be able to become leader. Because as far as you're concerned, the proverbial Samuel in the Free National Movement, who many of you all dub as Hubert Alexander Ingram, he's Samuel. Obviously, his word is simultaneously the word of God. So when he speaks, you expect these things to be able to come to pass. So you put no work and effort into it. You expect this to happen because Ingram said it, so it got to happen. I support him. I was fired also. And I find myself on here. I was the prime minister of the country. You expect that to happen by diffusion, by osmosis, by the natural inclination of life, by the process of elimination, by the fact that you've been endorsed by a significant figure. I don't know why you expect this to happen. You ain't do nothing to work towards it. Nothing. I'm not going to fight you. Nothing you've done to work towards it. Now you're out. As bad as y'all carry my girl, Patricia DeVoe, she beat you. That wasn't supposed to happen. You travel the whole country looking for a quote-unquote safe seat and end up in Bamboo Town. I thought it was funny. The whole country. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Dwayne Sands down here for Long Island. No, cuz we good. Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Hey, guys, what's up? Dwayne Sands here for an interview in Central Grand Bahama. No, cuz we good. Thanks, man. Make sure you close the door behind you. You couldn't get no place. So you end up in Bamboo Town. Bamboo Town accept you, and the people reject you. You had an opportunity more than any of these to be able to unify. Your position was almost sealed. And the only thing that stopped this sealing while you hold the envelope to your future was you being able to put your saliva on it and close the envelope and make it a sealed deal. You didn't do that. You didn't do your part. You had the faith, but you did not produce the work to show yourself approved in this capacity. So we look at that and we try to be able to make a determination based upon the faults that the organization has gone through. What does the organization need now? A unifier. Someone who could bring everyone together, someone who people could rally behind, someone who knows that this is the course to be able to take. They need a unifier. Not necessarily someone who can be able to row and fight and relentlessly be able to defend the organization in their capacity. Did you see what the PLP did? Have you seen what the PLP did over the course of the last general election over these past few weeks? Every nasty campaign acknowledged it, pointed, make you to see it. Billboards out here with our good, decent prime minister, and we don't know if it's AI or not. You got him look like he wet himself. and you amplify that. I don't know if the FNM did it. I think formally they would have distanced themselves from it and indicated that they had not done it. But it's peculiar. It was a strange thing. It was a strange thing. The organization that held up integrity and trustworthiness in this country all of a sudden fall into these tactics. What are y'all doing? And nobody saying on me, just let it slide. The PLP identified that, point us to it, and didn't say nothing about it. They leave it alone. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham comes on the stage and been able to lambaste across the political altar any aspirations that Sabas has. With the 2 tokens of political collateral that he's carrying. That's it. There's only 2 tokens left. And he wagered those 2 tokens on Sabas and put it on the table. Bye. You would expect Sabas to come say something? Nothing. You would expect the Prime Minister to come say something. I want to thank my old friend, my good friend, Hubert Ingraham, and thank him for supporting me. Let's get something straight. Only one Prime Minister on this ticket, and that's me. Gracious. And we're looking at all of these things, and everything that you threw against the PLP, they said nothing, they kept moving. Anytime the PLP has identified something in you, you went on an entire mission to be able to debunk what they're saying, and you thought that we were listening to that. You took a whole podcast out and explained to us, I wrote a book from this time, but then this is the, man, listen, what are you doing? Why are you even talking about that? Let's keep moving. Non-unifier. We look at Adrian White. He's already shown us a history of what he stands for, his temperament, his approach, and whether or not he has a kind of a balance internally, that conviction and understanding that this is a mammoth task and it's bigger than the indifference that exists within his particular space and in his environment. We've given him opportunities to be able to represent bigger than that. We've given him a platform from a national standpoint. The world is looking at him. The country is looking at him. Everyone is looking at him. There's expectation that you perform to a significant caliber based upon your predecessors in that particular area. We expect you to produce, perform, and present yourself in a higher caliber. And that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And so, after we look at all these particular persons from a historic standpoint, and then we look at what is being presented from these new numbers with Mr. Ferguson down in Michael. I don't know not much about his leadership capability. I know that the community went crazy when he presented himself, and I know that he was going to win. I told you that. I said the community, they erupted when he presented himself. I think they embraced the girl, even though I think she's beautiful. I don't know whether or not she could be able to take him. I told you this. And he won. I don't know if that's a testament to his leadership skills or if that's a testament to his social likability. Nonetheless, he won in that capacity. And after that victory, that kind of a handsome victory in that kind of a state, I believe that he deserved this, and I believe that he's going to do very well. I think he's going to do very well. As we look at Michaela and her particular capacity and identify those particular things, Michaela has presented ourselves to be able to understand the elements associated with power in politics. She's understanding that. Most recently, she would have been able, over the past 2 years and some, she would have found herself strategically involved in the organization and intimately involved in such a manner, being able to understand the workings of that particular organization, and found herself moving towards that. She is undergirded significantly by a perceived legacy of the organization and her father, and almost being able to, being given this opportunity. All right, she get it. Based upon how she acclaimed and acquired this position, I just asked myself whether or not leadership is going to be because there's an undeniable position. I think that this person should be given an opportunity. And I don't know whether or not there is a unanimous concept that says, I think that she should be given an opportunity. I'm talking about within the Free National Movement and socially, because they made this like a public event. And then you look at Andre Rollins. I don't know. We look at all these particular persons and we identify them across the spectrum, the SWOT analysis, to say their strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats that exist in them based upon what they presented prior. And then I look at Lincoln Dale. I think he has the temperament. I think he has the capability of becoming a unifier and being able to deliberately pull people in. I think he has the likability element. I think he has the experience. He's been exposed to leadership in the person of former Prime Minister Minnis, and he's been working with him in that leadership capacity for a long time when he headed his constituency as, I think it was the managers or directors or whatever the case may be. He was responsible for a great deal of these things for a long time for Minnis. And that's why he placed himself in the constituency of Killarney. And, it didn't work out. But that was one of the things that actually saved his political life, because he would have been gone. Yeah, I think Michaela's saving grace was her affiliation and the fight that ensued in that particular capacity. But I don't think that Lincoln Dale would have been able to retrieve the same level of grace. Long story short, I believe that, we didn't do Frazette. Frazette Gibson, she's good. She's shown herself worthy, capable, articulate, experience for the time that she would have been in local government and her capacity as a teacher in those particular areas. But I believe that she needs a couple more proverbial bumps and bruises on this sort of a journey with National Congress. The National Convention, right? So you go from a national standpoint, being able to identify that. I think she needs a little bit more, you know what I mean, from that particular standpoint. But I know that she'll be poised for leadership in the next 18 months. When I say leadership, it doesn't necessarily have to be leader, deputy leader, or chairman, but I know that she'll be given a significant position with an expectation for her to be able to produce and perform in that capacity. I could see that the Free National Movement would possibly make her a shadow minister for education. Let's just say that. And she'll have to be produced, she'll have to perform and identify those particular things. As I look at this and I make this kind of determination, a lot of persons kind of give me flack for Lincoln Dale, but I think that the temperament, the unifying quality, the ability to be able to be meek and understanding the strength of being able to do these things, this time for the unification process, I didn't say that, let's take it into general election. I don't know what's going to happen later, but I'm saying to you, for the unification right now, for the ability to be able to reach people who are disenchanted and disenfranchised from the Free National Movement, those people who have distanced themselves from the organization, those people who decided to choose progress, those people who decided to be able to go for the change in the COI, those people who are Free National Movement members who says, I don't want anything to do with an organization like this, with the leadership of Michael Pintard, with the leadership of Dwayne Sands and the leadership of Shannon Cartwright. I have decided to be able to sit this one out. I believe that Lincoln Dale can pull those people back home. Now, you could fight me down to the ground for that. You could cuss me. Well, how would I don't? I understand. But I have to tell you this. The organization needs something. They need someone with a heart. Everyone feel like this kind of iron fist of discipline what Ingram had is what needs to return. So you could proverbially whip people into shape and you can make them do what you want to. That don't happen no more, Bella. People got too much options and they ain't got no time to be wasting with you telling me what to do, and I don't get paid here. I don't get paid here. I don't even get paid from y'all. What you could tell me to do, I don't get paid from none of y'all. This is what you're dealing with. That's why I put Lincoln Deal. You might have your own choices of why you choose who you choose. I've identified Lincoln in that capacity. I've identified Lincoln, and I believe that he can do a great deal of being able to pull the party together and remind them of why they're F&M. I believe that he can do that. Ike Pintard cannot do that. He's proven that to us. Dwayne Sands cannot do that. He's proven that to us. Shannon Cartwright may be able to do that, but the Free National Movement has proven to us that they will suppress him and not allow him to be able to get that out. How dare his popularity ever raise above the popularity of the leader? And they've proven that to us. The Free National Movement needs some help. I think Lincoln can help. I think that he was set aside for such a time as this. You may not agree with me, and that is fine. But there is a grouping that looks like the next generation. And I think that that's who he is. That's what my thoughts are. Let's see if we can read a couple of these texts. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Can you hear me now? Is it good? I turn it up a little bit for you. Is it okay? I don't see it. I don't. You know. I get all kind of people calling me and cussing me out for this. I got all kind of people. No, it's only for your consideration. I didn't say that this is what's going to be. This is merely for your consideration. This ain't saying yay or nay. This is merely for your consideration. Can you hear me now? This is merely for your consideration. He said, yeah, Howard, I don't know where you get this from. He said, the Free National Movement was cussing you out all night, LOL. Yeah, they was cussing me out all night. I laughed. I got a text from one of the leaders of the Free National Movement. Hey, Howard, what's happening? Let's talk tomorrow. Talk for what? Well, I don't need to talk to them. I don't work for you. I'm a Free National Movement member. I didn't tell you all I leave you alone. I don't work for you. But in the sake of what I do, and in the sort of an idea of being able to see the country move towards democracy, I want to be able to contribute to what I believe will look good for balance and opposition for growth and development of the country. Not that I really care about what's happening in the Free National Movement, just for the sake of the purposes of balance socially. I don't believe you need to put another pit bull or a lion in certain positions. Maybe we could use a lamb. Maybe. Anyway. Yeah, let me hear your reasoning because I don't see what you're seeing in Travis. We can put Travis up right now. Yeah, Howard, they called you everything but a child of God last night. And I say, not my good brother. Howard, let's just be honest. Brave was masterful in this campaign. I watched an interview with Desmond Bannister last night, and he said the same thing. He said that every corner Brave outmaneuvered all of them. Yeah. Don't talk to them, Howard. Leave them alone. Leave them there. The Free National Movement sat in a position with an expectation, just like Dwayne Sands, after this kind of a proclamation from Samuel Ingram, Hubert Samuel Ingram. And you expected that this is the word of God and this would happen. And so you did nothing. You did absolutely nothing. But the word of God says to you that faith comes with faith. There's a symmetry that works together. There's a synergy. Faith and works. They go together. So you could believe all day what Hubert Ingram say, that these things can happen, but if you don't do nothing towards that, if you don't present yourself like that, if you don't listen to me. And you would have seen, what's his name? You would have seen David. But before you knew David, with the consideration of his brothers only seeing him as a ruddy boy and smelling like a sheep and a dirty goat, nasty, ruddy hair, he got lice and ticks just like the cow them. I mean the sheep them. He out here plaiting their hair and singing and harping, playing to them. And you did not know that he was out here fighting for them. You did not know that the Father was preparing him in these particular, that on day one he presented himself with the conviction and the faith and the determination to be able to go after the biggest giant. You didn't know that. You couldn't know that. You couldn't know that. I believe, and you ain't gonna like this, I believe that Dwayne Sands has everything in him to be a leader. I believe that Dwayne Sands has everything in him to be a leader. I believe that he cowered in his capacity, seeking to shield himself in the shadow of Hubert Alexander Ingram and hoping that that would propel him to the level of leadership. And every time he was tested, he failed. Because he didn't do anything. He wasn't propelled from his conviction. He didn't apply himself to his work. He used those tactics of yesteryear with an expectation to be able to get to tomorrow, and he failed. He didn't use conviction. He didn't use transparency. He didn't present himself accountable. He was deflective. Every single one of them did and presented themselves in the rhythm with the expectation that the Bahamian people are going to go FNM PLP, FNM PLP, garbage. Every one of y'all did the same thing. You place yourself in this position and you just thought that the rhythm of the country would place you in a position, FNM PLP, FNM PLP, and you did nothing outside of the norm of what existed over the past 30 years in this country. You did absolutely nothing, and you watching the PLP, you watching them present an entirely different campaign, and you haven't even taken into consideration that the temperature in this country has shifted. You didn't even take none. No one analyzing nothing in your organization. All you doing is out here with faith and your belief in what Hubert Samuel Ingram would have said. Because you believe that Ingram's voice is the voice of God. You got to be out of your mind. He has shown us over the past 15 years where he has depleted his political collateral significantly in almost everything. And this last dispensation and this last election showed us that everything he touched turned to dust, not to gold. Whatever the opposite of a Midas touch is, he got it. And that is what happened when you decide to be able to stay long enough to become the villain. You should have allowed yourself to step out in your victory capacity. You should have allowed yourself to step out at the top of your game. And I thought that's what you did. But because you continue to be able to finagle, because you continue to be able to make these sort of adjustments internally in the organization, and because of this crippling nature that exists in the organization itself, because of what you have created in terms of these men are yes men, they always look to you. Big grown men come, Papa, what else we could be able to do? You think this makes sense? No consideration for the experiences that they've had, no consideration for the exposure that they've had, no utilization of those particular things to ensure that these experiences that I had could be able to be utilized for the growth and development of the organization. Nothing. You bring us a whole 1997 campaign. We're supposed to ingest that and just say, oh my God, FNM all the way. You, Bala, oh, what y'all doing? What y'all doing? That's my justification of why I've decided to be able to look at Lincoln Deal. I think his temperament place them in the position of a unifier for the organization and help the organization find themselves back to a place of growth and development and being able to make some things happen. That is my humble opinion. That is not a steadfast, solid thing as it relates to what needs to happen. I'm saying to you, you must give consideration for these elements. You thought that this big, bad Brad perspective and position would be able to take you over. This kind of this assertion, this assertiveness, this kind of a relentless posture of perceived strength wrapped in this sort of a colonial or this colloquial rudeness. You think that that's an acceptable thing. You think that this dismissive approach of being able to identify Bahamian people as idiots and that you are superior with knowledge and information, that then all of a sudden we're supposed to follow you. This ain't working. You see it ain't working no more. Hubert Ingram come. They ain't even show up for Hubert Ingram. The people didn't show up for Hubert Ingram. It's supposed to be Papa. They didn't show up for Hubert Ingram at almost any inflection, at any step of the way. They have not shown up for Hubert Ingram. And you keep trying to mimic and duplicate that particular persona and concept that existed in that time. That's a time that has come and gone. The entire world is speaking of inclusion. The entire world is speaking of unification. The entire world is taking on a different course, and you right here trying to be able to construct fences, gates, and walls that relentlessly segregates, and you being able to have an elevated position of authority in that space. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But if I said this to you prior to May 12th, I'm an idiot. I'm everything this woman tell me, Howard, you need to shut up and go figure out some things to exercise. Go figure out some exercises. That's what she tell me last night. I laugh. I like it. I'm that kind of guy. I've been fat longer than you knew anything about politics. So I ain't wearing but you. I ain't wearing nothing but you. I good. I was born fat. My mother couldn't even have me regular. I was a C-section baby. You know I come out sizing. So I ain't worrying about you. But you grow into the foolishness and the stupidity that you continue to be able to spew. Y'all are fools in many instances because you give no consideration for anything else. You have to study to show yourself approved, and you believe that study is only in the Word of God, but study is based upon what's happening from a global standpoint to evaluate and use these things, filter these things through the Spirit of God to be able to discern the next step that you should take. But you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. You just, all you want to do is anyone who has any opposing view, they are absolute idiots and the enemy of the state. I see these people come here on my Facebook page talking all about my mother and my this and my that. You know, who are you people? What are you doing? Do you know that this is my page? You wild enough? You need to relax. It's my page. You do too much. And this is hilarious to me. That even in a post-synopsis, even in a post-apocalypse, you don't see what brought the devastation to you. You may see it and it may not seem as leadership material, but I think I do. This is somebody texted and say, Howard, this is why I say you don't help them. They're too stinking rude. That's okay. I know these people. These are Bahamian people, and I know what to expect from when Bahamian people feel a difference. When Bahamian people feel slighted, they can go into a position of cussing, and it's okay. I'm here for it. Let's do it. I want you guys to be able to join me when we get back. We can talk about the deputy leader and why I believe that this person should be in the capacity of deputy leader. Let's take a quick commercial break, guys, and be right back after this. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Foundation with Howard Grant. Can you hear me? Let me know if you could hear me. And jam all over. I got to fix some things on this thing. I'm here and we're back. Can you hear me? Can you see me? You know what's funny? Is I touched something on this thing and took out all of my... I took out all of my things. Is it double playing? Can you hear it? Is it echoing? Let me know if you can hear me, guys. If you can hear me, text me 827-0111. 827-0111. Hopefully we're not echoing and we could be able to do that. Let me see if I can get what I gotta get. This is hilarious. This is absolutely hilarious. I touched something and it knocked everything out. Knocked everything out. Okay, so no, somebody say, no, you sound fine. Okay, no problem. Praise God. All right, let's just try something, right? Guys, we're out here. We're live and we're doing exactly what you have to do. Let's try the image. Let me add an image. All right, hold on a second. The second person out of the gate to be able to identify, in my humble opinion, right? The second person to be able to identify, in my humble opinion, as we look at this. Now, like I said, I'm prepared to get cussed if you want to cuss me. I'm prepared. I'm good at this stuff. Can you see me? Boom. Second person. Second person out of the gate is Michaela Barnett Ellis, Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement, experienced, focused, fearless, ready to serve, a leader that you can count on. I believe that this is the representation of who she is, and I believe that she would do superb in this particular capacity. This is just Howard. This is my thought pattern. It doesn't necessarily have to be It doesn't necessarily have to be as I say, and I'm willing to be able to look at it and make a determination if I'm making sense, if I am making sense. Yes, you could say that. Howard, shut up. You're talking stupidness. You're talking a bunch of foolishness. Michael Abana, in her particular capacity, is one of the persons that can be able to hit more than one thing, okay? The dispensation that we're in right now from a global standpoint and a local standpoint is inclusion. We talked about that, the necessity for being able to identify inclusion. She is and has been an advocate, whether she knows it or not, indirectly for women's rights and the right for women to be able to stand in certain instances. When Leslie Miller called her the little girl and so forth and so on, she's willing to take on the task and being able to do those things. Maybe those efforts prior were placed in these kind of weird positions and weird spaces. But the truth of the matter is that I believe that she could be able to do a great deal and working in those particular spaces. I really do. I really do believe that she can do a lot for the Free National Movement in this particular capacity. And I believe that she can be viewed as, in my view, at this time, as a proverbial Esther that's being born for such a time as this. If we're going to be very honest with you, I did not have her in the winning column at all. I don't think any of us had her in the winning column at all. I did not have her in the winning column at all. Numerically, I identified that the amount of persons in that particular capacity against the 2,501 votes that Minnis got last time, those votes being potentially split and her being able to take the lion's share of those votes would have been 1,500. Minnis being able to take 1,000 would have been able to place, in my mind, Robin Lyons in the position that if she could have acquired a couple more votes, she could have gotten over what Ronnie would have gotten and find herself comfortable in a margin of 2,000 if everyone showed up in that constituency, which they've always shown themselves progressive enough to be able to go out and vote. And I expected to be able to see her in that kind of a lightened capacity of being able to do these things. I expected Robin Lyons to win that. Not because it's a PLP area, not because it's a, only thing I was looking at was the numbers. That's it. I don't think anyone in that constituency had enough time to be able to show us personality. And only thing that we could have done is measure their character based upon what we would have seen years before. They had no time to present themselves in this constituency. And Minnis would have shifted his course and gone dive into TikTok. Minnis is diving into TikTok, doing his TikTok, so forth and so on. And he was assured that he's going to win. And Michael had told us that he was going to vote for her. Maybe he did. I don't know. Who knows? Michael has shown herself poised. She's shown herself capable, articulate, insightful. There is a level of just a little pinch of belonging, like a legacy belonging. There's a little pinch of this. I don't think she's ever articulated it you know who I am, like this kind of a posture. I don't think she's done that. But I think that what she would have done in terms of her presentation has placed us in the position where there has been, we could perceive a sense of entitlement, just a little piece. Nothing to talk about. It wasn't like a pronounced, we're lathered with this idea that, who I am and I'm supposed to be here. No, I think it was just like a pinch in that particular area. And as we look at it, and I'm looking at her, I think to myself, and I said, I think that she'd make an excellent deputy leader. She could pull in the women. She could be able to remind them about the convictions associated with the party. She is young enough, articulate enough, insightful enough, educated enough to be able to look at the futuristic concepts of where women should be strategically placed. She could lend a significant sense of balance to this. It gives her good proximity to be able to prepare themselves to eventually find ourselves moving up the ranks from a leadership standpoint. I didn't say that these are the men and women that is going to take the Free National Movement to the next general election. I said to you in this time, in dispensation, that these are the men and women who I believe Howard Grant could be able to be that unifying factor to pull people in. You got to be like the Ramming Brothers. Bring them in. Bring them in. Bring them in from the... I feel like a jumper right now. All right? That's all you got to do. You just got to bring people back in. You just got to bring people back in. And no one wants to see the salt and peppered hair of an aged man or woman stepping into these particular positions whilst we're looking at the PLP. At every inflection, the PLP has identified a young person to be able to sit in the stead of someone who's transitioned. At every inflection. At every inflection, the PLP has looked at a youthful face, a youthful idea and concept, and pulled them in strategically into a position of frontline politics when an older person has transitioned. They did it in West Grand Bahama with Kingsley. They did it in Golden Isles with, what's his name? Darren Pickstock. They did it in Mike Cow with Bristow when McIntosh stepped off the scene. Hello. They presented youth and tenacity in the person of Paco Deal in Central Grand Bahama. They presented vision and concepts and youth in the person of Dr. Monique Pratt in East Grand Bahama. Eddie Wan may not have necessarily been so young, but he was tenacious and youthful in spirit as he presented himself always bubbly and jubilant in that space in Marco City. I'm just trying to show you something, man. This is why people who's commentating on these particular capacities could say things like the Free National Movement has been playing checkers the entire time the PLP was playing chess. The entire time. The entire time the PLP was playing chess. Now, if you feel indifferent, and the first thing on my Facebook page last night, the people asking me, well, how these people get any experience? Where they can get the experience from? What? You let people climb all the way to the top of the organization, get nominated, win the thing. You know that the FNM didn't have a chance. See, I don't know where y'all people, I don't know. I don't know where y'all people get your numbers from. I don't know. Okay? You might be out of sight, out of mind. You might be out to lunch in your head. I don't know where y'all get your numbers from. We sit here on this show after week, and we identify what our thoughts was for every one of these constituencies. And dare I say, we wasn't far off. My God, I think we hit everyone except Kalani. We did not hit Kalani. I was absolutely incorrect about Kalani. I win money. The fella tell me, Howard, the PLB is going to win Long Island. I said, sir, the PLP is not going to win Long Island. She said, yeah, man, the PLP can win Long Island. For the first time. Renika down there, Renika's doing good. I said, Renika's doing well. They call me and tell me. But Tyrell Young did well also. I said, the PLP is not going to win Long Island. Oh, the PLP is going to win Long Island. I bet you $50. I said, sir, the PLP will not win Long Island. I don't understand what you're doing. I said, that's an FNM territory. They're going to win. The Free National Movement is going to win. Now, I already then called certain Knowles. I said, how Long Island doing? Howard, they try their hardest. That's what I hear. This was a very clear conversation. I care not to call it by name. Because, you need your people to call. You need your informants and the people who could provide you information. You will never blow you their cover. Amen. I called the fella. I said, Howard looking. You see, Howard. You say, Howard, listen, my family trying hard to get Renika in, but the people getting PLB. I mean, the people getting FNM. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. I said, again, FNM? He said, we try so hard, but we can't win it with Renika. We can't, we try. I said, okay. The man come to me and the man say, Howard, the PLP is going to win Long Island. You know what? I bet you $100. I bet you $100. I said, sir, you could bet me $5,000. The PLP will not win Long Island. The PLP knows that. I don't know where you get these numbers from. He shake my hand for $100. I said, all right. He called me yesterday. I ain't bothering him, you know. I thought this was just like one of those exercises that we do. I'm bothering him. He called me, Howard, as a man of my word, Friday I come to bring $100 to you. I said, okay, praise God, bring the $100 to me. I'll take it. I didn't bet him. I just let him know that I'm in a strategic position. I could be able to identify these things. We had North Andros, we had North Abaco and North Eleuthera in the air. Talk to me. How I talking? We gave some assured positions, but we had some constituencies up in the air. We did not know how it would go, but we knew that if there was a wave, and there was a wave with this sort of an idea that you're safe with Brave, that was a wave that you're safe with Brave. Many of these candidates was able to step over the threshold because of Brave Davis. Nothing to do with themselves. Nothing. Patricia Bain and Patricia DeVoe would not have been if it was on the strength of her and her record. Barker's role would not have been if it was only on his strength and his record. Who else? Miles DeRoda never would have won if it was on the strength of his record and what he would have done or didn't do. Now, these men and women would have done well independently, individually in their capacity, but there was already conversations bubbling out of their constituencies to say, listen, we're not satisfied with what Pat's doing. We're not satisfied with Miles DeRoda. And you know Pinewood just go left, right in the government boots all the time. And I told you, if Pinewood decided to choose, we talk about this. Y'all keep fighting me, but we talk about this. I'm glad these things are recorded. I told you, if Pinewood chose the FNM, that the country would go FNM. I told you this. There's two constituencies I told you we looked at. I said, if Fort Charlotte chose FNM and if Pinewood chose FNM, the country was going FNM. I told you this. Because it would have said in Fort Charlotte, brother, we ain't care about your money. We ain't gonna swing us. We remember you. We coming for you. Bam. And knock him out. And in Pinewood, it would have said to the government, we don't believe anything you're saying. We're having tribulation. We don't believe nothing you say. It don't matter who is who. We're going FNM. The country would have gone FNM. I told you this. Pinewood, who went from FNM and PLP over the past 30-some years, chose PLP twice. I said this to you. I said, if Denari win, I said this to you. That's it. Denari is a novice. I said this to you, not in an insulting manner. He's new to the frontline aspect, not novice to life. He's new to the frontline aspect of politics. And in the event that those people in that constituency would have chosen him over Miles DeRoda, given the fact that Miles DeRoda had good proximity to the government, that he was able to get some things done, that he made some promises to these people, if it's spry, and Pinewood water level rises, Denari has not presented himself, nor the Free National Movement, an organization that could be able to assist you in getting mops. I said this to you. But if you choose him, I know we ain't choosing progress. I told you that was the two constituencies that we looked at. We went through every constituency in this country. We said the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat that existed in West Grand Bahama. I said to you that everybody say, yeah, boy, the PRP can win Central Grand Bahama. I tell you, y'all watch out for Business Point, watch out for this area. These people is FNM. I said this to you. The people is FNM. I said this to you. I said to you, no matter what you do, East Grand Bahama people, I said to you, when the Prime Minister decided to be able to go to the arbitration and then simultaneously take on this kind of a position to be able to acquire the Grand Bahama Power Company, I said this to you, that this is not an exercise to be able to retrieve or to shift the mindset of those people in Grand Bahama. Those people in Grand Bahama will vote FNM. I told you this. I told you this. Grand Bahama people don't care what you do for them or don't do for them. There's FNM. Central Grand Bahama showed you that. East Grand Bahama showed you that. And Marco City showed you that. Now, 2031, I believe that there will be a change. With the introduction of the hotel, with the introduction of the changing in your electricity, with the access and opportunity of these particular things, waiting to see what the arbitration will yield, introducing a sort of a concept of what the PLP would have done over the course of time, then I believe that that will soften you up to have a very clear understanding of the tribulation of what an organization has done for the growth and development of the country as a whole, and not necessarily concerning yourself and isolating yourself to Grand Bahama. I believe that that sort of a mindset will be able to be enveloped in you and grow on you. And so the PLP may find some success if they steady the course in 2031 in Grand Bahama. But as it stands now, you got to be able to take what you get in Pine Ridge and in and in West Grand Bahama. We were not necessarily as sure as we wanted to be, but we knew that Kirk Corners had the edge in North Abaco. We knew that. How did we know that? Oh, well, what about his case and all these things? No. We didn't concern about that. We knew that the people for the Free National Movement has already indicated that we did not want Boodle. And Hubert Ingram introduced her to this particular space. We didn't want her. We wanted Gary. Whoever Gary is. We wanted Gary. We also knew in South and Central Abaco that the people were indifferent with the leadership of the Free National Movement coming down to that space simply because he was already a flip-flopper. They presented that at the forefront. I don't know where you'll get your numbers from, but we deduced every single one of these constituencies in this country. And at one point, we came up with 32 seats. You all tell me if I lie. 32 seats. 32 seats. We had Lincoln in, we wasn't sure about Lincoln. We really thought that Wayne Monroe would have been able to get that. Not that he deserved it, not that he's done these things tremendous or miraculous or so forth and so on. It's just that with the numbers associated, we thought that Blue would have done a significant amount and that things would have shifted in that particular area. We thought that Blue would have been able to take some votes away from Lincoln, and that would be able to put Wayne Monroe over. They bring Adrian Fox, and then people still voted against Wayne Monroe. They bring Adrian Fox, and they still voted against Wayne Monroe. That was amazing. Adrian said, I can spend $2 million down here. This man is the daddy. We can win this. Boom, boom, boom. He lost. So I don't know, not one constituency in this country I could look at, and it definitely can be 30, to say that the Free National Movement is going to win that. That don't even make no sense. That don't even make no sense. We gave the Free National Movement, on a light day, we gave the Free National Movement 15 seats. That was the pinnacle of them. And then we pulled it up, and when we said 32 seats, we knew, for the PLP, we knew that 11 seats would have gone to the Free National Movement. I'm sorry, 9 seats. I do too much. 9 seats for the Free National Movement. We knew that. And then I told you, I said, Now, if that happens, it'll be 8 seats because when they go to by-election, the PLP will win the seat in Marco City. I told you that. Now, it seems as though that the Free National Movement is doing everything they can to retain that number. But that's not an honorable thing. That's not an honorable thing to do. Anyway, long story short, as we identify these things and have conversations about it, the fact of the matter is that this is where we are and this is what we're looking at from this particular standpoint. Okay? The third person and final person that I want to be able to talk about I'm going to tell you right now, the third person and final person that I want to be able to talk to you about in this sort of a trifecta of what I believe could be the new dispensation of leadership of the Free National Movement. Not that I get involved in people's business or nothing. I'm just looking at it and making this kind of a determination. As I look at this and we look at what the country is yearning, what the country needs, I believe that the third person in this layout, this is my humble opinion now. You all know, don't crucify me for my opinion. It's Travis. See Travis there. Travis for chairman. Travis is articulate. He's useful. He has this kind of a magnetic nature. He's liked among the organization, and he's proven himself to be, because he hit a crossroad at one point. And at that crossroad, he had to make a determination as to whether or not he's going to be a nationalist or he's going to be a party man. He was at the crossroads. He had to make a determination as to whether or not he was going to be an advocate and a nationalist at the VAT conversation, or if he was going to be a party man. He chose the latter, which is the party man. He chose to be a party man. And with that kind of a party man, he got good proximity to the organization. He got good favor, that kind of a favorability. He got that kind of attraction. Some things have happened, so forth and so on for him. And he is good in that kind of a space. He's youthful. He is not necessarily, none of these guys are, well, maybe Lincoln may have more history, but none of them present the fluidity in talking about the history of the organization and some of the tenets that the organization stands for. None of them do that, but they could learn. And I believe that Travis, Senator Captain Travis Robinson, and I say senator because I believe that they should put him in the Senate. I believe that these men and women represent the new dispensation of the Free National Movement. It's going to pull youth in. It's going to remind them of 1992 Free National Movement, about this conviction, this sort of an idea for being able to be deliberate in its youth. The Free National Movement has always been the party that we can look to for now young faces, and that shifted with the PLP. That shifted in 2017. That shifted. The PLP don't even try to have conversations. Shane Gibson was supposed to come back. All of us know Shane Gibson. They did everything they could do to make sure that Shane don't get an opportunity. And not because they hated him. It's just that they wanted to be able to give a different image of the organization. A youthful, insightful organization that's prepared for the future. And they did that. But the Free National Movement took none of that into consideration and brought the entire Minnis cabinet and then blamed all the issues that Minnis followed on the cabinet, but took no consideration that you brought the cabinet with you. What the sick? Listen. You can't. Listen, man. It baffled my mind that you blame Minnis for your loss. Mind blown. You blame Minnis for your loss and took no consideration that you put half a Minnis cabinet in this new cabinet, this We Work For You cabinet, this SOS Save Our Sovereignty cabinet or administration. And You lose, and the first thing you blame is Minnis. You didn't blame your consideration for being able to bring these things back, these people back. You didn't blame your consideration for ill-advised placement of these particular persons who didn't pair well with the constituencies. You didn't blame. You were running an ad hoc campaign, and you expected all of us in the Bahama land to ingest this information, accept whatever it is, and you was going to win 30 seats. 827-0111, 827-0111. I can put the thing back on the screen right now. 827-0111. Let's look at this and see exactly what's what. They say, and Robin was literally 20 votes away. Yeah, Dr. McGarvey yucked them from home. So let's read this. As Howard, let's just be honest. Brave is masterful. Yeah, we read that. Say, don't talk about that, Howard. Yeah, then we read that. He said, this is why I say don't help them, Howard. They just think, yeah, we read that. He says, I see a lot of the commentary showing that they have not learned from their defeat. Howard, I wonder if they will give women Minister of National Security. I wonder if they will give a woman Minister of National Security. Yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. They give a woman the commissioner's position. Why not give them a Minister of National Security? Of course they would. I don't think that they identify the person who has that kind of a temperament and those qualities that they may be looking for to pair it well. But Ashanta knows if she ever decides to get involved and she's on a winning ticket, first off, right off the bat, they consider her as Minister of National Security. Right off the bat. Okay? National Security, if not, I can see Jomo getting that. Minister of National Security, they already started having the conversation about Keith Bell. I don't know whether or not he's getting it. I see some person said they scrapped it, right? I read something, and they said they scrapped it, right? Jomo, National Security. I can say one thing. Jomo has been extremely impressive over the past 2 weeks. The PLP has used him strategically in this kind of a, and then you could always kind of get a feel for what the expectation of a next administration would be, what the expectation of a next, how the administration or the ministerial makeup of a next administration would be when you see them use them on a campaign trail in a particular manner. Okay? When you see them speaking to certain aspects of things, you could see them being used in an official capacity in a particular manner. Okay? And so Jomo's articulation, Jomo's introduction of the Prime Minister, the kind of exuberance that he brought, that kind of the energy that he brought, the familiarity of being able to tap into nostalgia and say, this is who Brave Davis is, this is who Brave Davis was, this is where he comes from, so forth and so on. You knew that they will use him in a particular capacity. I don't know if that means national security, but I know that that means in a significant capacity, that he will be able to kind of find himself up the ranks of these particular things. So I believe that he's going to do well. I believe that he's going to do well. And I believe that he'll be placed in the kind of category and position that the country will be able to see him tap into a skill set that he's had and that he's been developing over the course of time. All right, so that's how you see it, right? It says, and Robin was literally 20 votes away. You was only incorrect in Kalani by 29 votes. Yeah. We calculate these things. We went hard in trying to make a determination and trying to be fair in every one of our assessments. Even nobody was giving the PLP nothing. We knew that everything that Harrison Thompson said, we could be able to kind of disregard that because that didn't make no sense. You understand? He's already shown us on several occasions that his information is always inaccurate. So we just throw this kind of an idea out the window with this 80 to 85% coming to vote. Where? 80 to 85% coming to vote where? Not in this country. Not in this country. They ain't into that. Good afternoon, Howard. I agree with you, and I truly hope that they take your recommendation into consideration and execute. But I want to hear your thoughts about Dr. Trevor Johnson and Carlisle Bethel, as well as the Free National Movement tries to rebuild. Carlisle has for the sake of enthusiasm, Kalal is my friend. Okay? Kalal has done some work with me outside of these particular things. Kalal, he does some accounting and he does some stuff like that for me. Kalal is my friend. Kalal has tampered with his diplomatic immunity. Okay? Kalal, this sort of a zealous posture and the excitement associated with being able to be in a big crowd and kind of being able to rally that crowd. Sometimes we tap into material that we shouldn't travel in that area. Kalal has possibly put under scrutiny for whenever is an opportunity, his potential opportunity to be able to be a diplomat out of the United States of America, or even from a global standpoint. He has tremendous opportunity and tremendous articulation, insight, and he himself has been able to play his role well. But that kind of a faux pas could lead him to a level of scrutiny where people reject him. They possibly reject him. From the possibility of being able to find himself in the position of national growth and development. Is my humble opinion. To say what he said, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that. There's too much implications there. Russia was implicated. America was implicated. This perceived notion of where we stand in the country, being able to articulate that from your organizational standpoint, from your party standpoint, it was not good. It was not good. It was not good. So, Kalal may have to pay a background position for a while. He may have to. I mean, some people don't even care. You know, Kalal is our guy. Be going with him. You understand what I'm saying? Dr. Trevor Johnson, I don't necessarily know well. And I know that they speak of him well, but I don't necessarily know him well. And so I couldn't give you an accurate reading of what my expectations could be from him going forward. I know that the Free National Movement is looking at youth to strategically put them in place. But the youth have to have sense enough to know how to stand on their own feet. It can't be this relentless leaning and dependency on the old guard. You should have your own information. You should have the history of the organization. You should know the direction that the organization is going in. You should have your convictions about the expectation. You should know the constitutional aspect, how these elements work, and the cohesion and the expectation of what we should yield from this. And if you don't have that, then you should not be considered to be able to find yourself in a progressive capacity, in a capacity of being able to move for the betterment of the organization. I don't think it's it, right? So it says he embarrassed himself. He got on stage and acted like a fool for that clickbait. He did that 2 nights back to back. The first night I thought it was in poor taste, being able to throw the passports. Oh, passport for sale, pay for passport. I thought it was in poor taste. It was in poor taste. I was so disappointed in the Free National Movement, you'll have no idea. 1992, Hubert Ingram standing right there, and he was a part of that garbage. He was a part of that. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain. He stand right there, and he allowed himself to participate in that garbage that they call a campaign. It was garbage. It didn't have any integrity. It was shape-shifting. It was meandering, looking for a way. It was like a snake worm trying to be able to find itself out of the muck and mire. Or a tapeworm. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I just trying to be honest with you. This was a horrible campaign. We would have never looked at it. Listen, 1992, 1997, 2002, superb campaigns. High quality men and women, high caliber men and women, socially elevated in significant positions. Hubert Ingraham could get anybody, FNM or PLP, to be able to run on his ticket. They knew that he was a proven leader. They wanted to be able to be associated with him. They know that proximity to Hubert Ingraham could eventually elevate my career, elevate the opportunities that I have in life, and give me, not that he given you nothing, but just by being able to be in proximity to Hubert Ingraham, we could go places. You wanted to join the organization. That did not happen in 2021. 2026. That did not happen in 2026. I'm going to be very clear with you. The FNM couldn't get nobody to join the ticket. Look at the caliber of some of these people. You don't even know some of these people. Right now, you can't even remember. You don't even remember the name in certain constituencies. You don't remember. You don't. You don't. Certain constituencies, you don't know. You could say, oh yeah, it was a woman who ran that. You could say, you can remember that. But you don't know these people. The FNM couldn't draw the top ticket items, top ticket men and women that they would have been able to do in 1992, 1997, 2007. They wasn't able to draw it. They wasn't able to draw it in 2021 either, you know. They wasn't able to draw it. But it has diminished significantly since then. So that's just my position. The paper says something absolutely different than what I say, and I realize that the Free National Movement is an organization that you got to leave them to their own devices and make them to be able to do what they have to do. Because in the papers today, in the Guardian, the Free National Movement's Parliamentary Caucus, Central Council, and Executive Committee have decided that Michael Pintard will remain as leader of the party. Let's take a break. When we get back, I can talk about that just a little bit, which I think is a wild thing. Quick break, guys. Going to be right back after this. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, just jamming with you on this beautiful Friday as we continue to be able to talk about where we are from a national standpoint and really being able to talk about where we're going. Always grateful to be able to be with you. Always grateful to kind of jam with you and be able to do that, to see exactly where we are. In these last few minutes, I want to be able to take your telephone calls. You can give me a call, 827-0111, 827-0111. I was just trying to be able to put it back on the screen for you. But I'll fix that. But 827-0111, 827-0111. And we're going to just be talking about some stuff, man. Let's just be able to take this and, I don't know, man. I don't know. See, there's a level of vulnerability associated with these things. There's a level of vulnerability associated with these things, right? And this honorable concept has more to do with merely just for the word's sake. There's sort of an idea that is to say that you're honorable for the sake of the conversation. You're honorable because of your proximity. You're honorable because of the access that you've been given to the House of Assembly, that the honorability is associated with something from an external standpoint, but no one ever takes into consideration that honor is not something that is bestowed upon you. It could be viewed in you, but it's not something that is given to you. This is something that you work for. This is something that you prepare for. This is something that you carry yourself. You carry yourself with a level of honor. The reason why a great deal of us, whether or not we agreed with his politics or not, that we've identified that Hubert Alexander Ingram would have been an honorable man, because even in the midst of being able to identify these things from an external standpoint, even in the midst of being able to fall victim to the power and the lure associated with the position that you're in, there's a level of power and there's a pull that is undeniable to man. It may not necessarily have money, because we always try to be able to equate this sort of an idea with money. But there is a level of social power that you have when you're recognized, especially with the backing of an office in various capacities. And it's hard to let that go. It's hard to let that go. It's hard to give it up. This kind of a power doesn't concede. It falls into the category of these particular positions that we're talking about. People just get government car and they will fight you when you come to get it back when your government lose. So can you imagine being able to acquire a power and people change your name? That's the level of power associated with people. Your name is no longer Michael. Your name is no longer Howard. Power changes your name, your title, your position geographically and otherwise. Power has a way of being able to transform these things. And whether or not people can articulate it, that's what's happening here. That your name is changed. That your lifestyle, everything that you would have been used to, that you would have been comfortable with, that you would have done before, no longer. You're doing something entirely different. When Sarai wanted to be able to have a child, she needed a level of power to be associated with that. Her name changed. Hello. When Abram found himself seeking to be able to be the seed bearer to a nation, his name changed, Abraham. Okay? When God gives you a blessing, he said, I called you blessed. Your name change. Okay? Let's be very clear with this. When Jacob found himself in the position after he wrestled with God, his name changed. He became Israel. When Joseph found himself going through significant tribulation and he was elevated amongst those particular persons, he became governor, his name changed. Every single juncture, the name shifted. Every time you find yourself moving from one space to another, your name changed. And so whether or not you want to be able to identify that, Michael Pintard's name has shifted. Michael Pintard socially is identified in the capacity of His Majesty's Royal Opposition, leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard. His name has changed. The prefix associated with it, your name has changed. And as a result of this particular name change, you ever see these people, you ever watch these things, the documentary, all of Jamie Foxx, them, all these people in there, they've all changed their names to take on the character and the persona associated with these particular things. Howard Grant in 8 Mile Rock is known as Ramado or Motto. For me to be able to get in formality and step into the space that I was called to be, my name is Howard. My name changed. You have to understand that. When people call me Motto, that's an entirely different approach that I take to you than you call me Howard. Your name change. Michael Pintard's name change sometimes goes to your head. Hubert Alexander is Ingram, and the reason that Hubert Alexander Ingram, and the reason why we can be able to identify him as honorable is even after his name change, there was a level of integrity that existed in him that he wouldn't allow a name change to cause him to sway from, to move away from. He still stood in conviction. He knew that this was the right thing to do. He knew that he had years of service and he loved this thing. He did that, and he knew that it was time to get off the scene. And so he did the honorable thing, and he stepped down. Now, I don't know if that's because he acquired everything that he thought he had to acquire. Whatever it is, he stepped down. He lost. He stepped down. In 2007 or 2000, whenever, when he stepped down after that loss and whatnot, and they call him back to come back, and they say, Tommy, they want me. He came back, but he had already left. Michael Pintard's name change should not deflect from the character that existed in him. No one had to go in a caucus, in a council to find out if Hubert Ingram would stay or go. He knew he was going. Hubert Ingram knew he was going to matter what y'all say. Hubert Ingram then leave the party twice. Because he knew that this was the right thing to do, the honorable thing to do from a Westminster standpoint. He knew he had to go. And he left. And he called him back the first time, and then the second time, he left. To kind of be faded off to the back of the organization. But he's left frontline politics. And he didn't care whether or not his name changed, because Hubert Ingram is a strong name socially already. And it already had a level of integrity associated with it. Michael Pintard's name leader, there may be a tugging and a pulling in his spirit that he wants to be able to keep this social recognition. Because there's no grouping could tell me nothing if I believe that this is the right thing to do. And if you have a point to make and you want to prove to the Bahamian people that use this and use that and you want to stay around, all right. It's to the detriment of the organization. But I don't care how much council come together. Hubert Ingraham didn't need a council. He never sat in the House of Assembly after 2012. He came in, he said what he had to say, and he would graciously bow out. He had the ceremony associated with it. Everyone thanked him for the opportunity, and he stepped down. Not you. Not you. You all have dismantled and destroyed everything that the Free National Movement stood for. Every level of integrity, every idea of being able to hold the party up significantly, you all have decided to be able to eradicate those pillars. I don't know if it's because of pride. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Because you could take an example from the men and the women before you. You have to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You have to know when it's your time. And the organization will live after you. It will be okay. The organization will live after you. It lived before you, before your contribution, before your articulation, before your poetic posture. It lived before you. It will live after you. There's no need to diminish what it stands for, what it fought for, what socially we identify it as, by being able to contaminate it with defiance. And these aren't traditions that be able to benefit the few. It's for the many. The country needs to see that the FNM holds this level of integrity. The country needs to see that. That you differ from the PLP in so many states and places. You have relentlessly, for 3-4 decades, for a generation, you have called the PLP corrupt. At every inflection, you have identified a way to be able to say that the PLP is corrupt. You have done that. And in the midst of being able to do that and identify that, you place yourself in this kind of position where you were the purveyor of moral authority. And then you go against everything that you have put forward, everything that you stand for, and you expect none of us to say anything. Oh, well, the PLP do it before, but you already didn't tell me they corrupt. So why are you following behind them who you identify and speak of as corrupt? You ain't no worse than them, no better than them. In fact, you're worse than them. Because many times they do these things and they believe that they're right. But you know that you're wrong. You know that you're wrong. You know that. You don't want to talk that, but you know that. You know that you're wrong. The Free National Movement Parliamentary Caucus, Central Council, and Executive Committee have decided that Michael Pintard will remain as leader for the Free National Movement for the party. Following the Free National Movement's defeat on Tuesday election, there has been conversations over the future of the party and whether the Pintard should stay on as leader. On Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2026, the leadership of the elected officers and the Free National Movement, the Executive Committee, the Central Council, and the newly elected FNM members met to openly determine whether or not they should continue serving, whether or not he should continue serving, Michael Pintard, as leader following the election results. Mr. Pintard was unanimously endorsed to remain in this post. Mr. Pintard, from the start to finish, the renewal process of the Free National Movement will be democratic, disciplined, and deliberate. The Free National Movement won just 8 of 41 seats up for grabs on Tuesday. Pintard was re-elected to Marco City, but the party's deputy leader, Shannon Cartwright, who moved from St. Barnabas to run in the newly formed St. James, lost. Pintard will be sworn in as leader of Her Majesty's opposition on Monday, May 18th. This is what the party says. This decision follows a transparent... Let's pull over. Let's open it and see what's going on. This is The Guardian today, guys. Let's go. A transparent and democratic consultation process with multiple bodies of the Free National Movement held at Mr. Pintard's request and the Free National Movement. This is what the Free National Movement said. It added that over the next several months, we will undertake a fulsome postmortem that engages even more of our members, supporters, and the wider Bahamian public, and will rightly include a full national parties convention. The Free National Movement has faced setbacks before. The work ahead will make us a stronger party and a better voice for the Bahamian people. The Free National Movement caucus includes Kwesi Thompson, Adrian White, Andre Rollins, Michael Bonnet Ellis, Lincoln Deal, J. Leo Ferguson, Fraser Gibson, and Michael Pintard. While many Free National Movement members are likely to rally behind Pintard, there are also those who are arguing for his resignation. This is a lot. This is a lot. All the best to you guys. All the best to the Free National Movement in their particular, their path. This is a level of stubbornness and social defiance that I've never seen before. This is a rejection of the traditions and a determination of this isolated concept of what exists in their silo to do what they desire. I haven't seen this before. I knew that it existed, but I just haven't seen it before. But we see it today. So all the best to them. Guys, hit me up, 827-0111, 827-0111. Before we get out of here to be able to make this determination and see exactly what's what. It is now 1. It is 1:52. So let me know where we are. It's 1:52, so let me know where we are and being able to identify these things, all right? So we get a couple minutes before we can be able to get out of here. Let me see if I can get a couple texts in and read some of these things to see exactly where you are from that particular standpoint. I love this idea. Somebody just texted me. I love this idea to be able to see youthful persons at the forefront of leadership in the Free National Movement. Okay, I accept that. I appreciate you. There's a text that's coming through. It says, y'all Negroes can't give political talk a break, right? There's a text that's coming through, right? It says, there's the next text that's coming through that says, Howard, I can see Lincoln as leader, and that's a power move if they're smart. Yeah, that's the text that's coming through. Let me see if I can see any more texts. Some people send me a voice note. No, I'm not going to press play on those voice notes because I don't know what you're saying. It says, I believe that's a new way forward for the Free National Movement. That's the text that's coming through, being able to identify those particular things. And let me see if I can read a couple texts from where we were on this Facebook page. And wait. Oh, God. Somebody text me and say, Howard, the Free National Movement, as it relates to their position, being able to keep Michael Pintard in his position, they're lost and delusional. The new leadership should include Lincoln Deal, and Michaela Barnett, right? There's the next one. Says, Howard, bro, go about your business. Y'all won the government. Man from the FNM should not be on any PLP's radar. You got me labeled as a whole PLP? My God, I'm not going to fight you. So it says, this is more great news for the PLP. This is Texas coming through, right? So it says, this will be their demise. This is Texas coming through, right? Let's see if we can read a couple more. Hold on, let me open up the next one. So it says, you're trying to cause these people stress, Howard. You know just how the FNMs go. They will destroy them for pop those, right? Okay. Howard, you want something heavy. This is a text that's coming. Well, this is a text that they sent me on these particular things. So it says, so no to Adrian White. Adrian White already shown us his temperament. You got to make a determination as to whether or not this is something that you want going forward. Lincoln or Fraser leader or Deputy Michaela or Leo for chairman. The chairman could be pulled through the Senate. That ain't a big deal. Or you don't even have to have the chairman as a Senate. It doesn't make a difference. But you need a strong Senate chairman. Right? So what y'all see in Travis? Am I missing it? No. Travis has a sense of loyalty to the organization and will do whatever he can to ensure that there is a level of victory associated and this kind of a prestige associated with being able to pronounce the organization. That's something that the organization needs. They need a champion. They need someone to champion their cause. And I think that he can do that well. Right? Somebody sent me a picture of Travis' first team in political arena. Right? Let me look at this team. What did this say? Travis Robbins in 2017. Bunch of young people being able to do this. It must be when he was at go look on my Facebook page. It's wide open if you want to be able to check it out. Howard R. Grant. You can be able to pick that up and see exactly what's what. Lincoln Dean for leadership. He is man. Yeah. I said it before and I will say it again. The FNM lost the election in 2026. They will also lose in 2031. That is bananas. That is bananas, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be able to thank you so very kindly for being able to be here with us today. I'm going to see you on God's Spirit Lives on Monday, live, as we continue to be able to jam with you right here on the foundation. I'm excited about it. Always excited about being able to talk with you and identify these particular things. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good time and be decent. Be decent as we continue to be able to move forward and make these particular things happen. All right. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And I ask that the Father continue to be able to watch over you and keep you as we are not with each other, as we depart one from another. All right, so have a great weekend, guys. Be safe. I'm going to see you on Monday, God's Spirit Lives, right here on The Foundation.